Okay, so what do we see so far as not just rhetorical devices, and this isn't criticism of anything that I was hearing people say. I was going to say this no matter what, but we don't want it to be like, ooh, here's alliteration, and look how he uses that alliteration, unless it's getting, used in order to appeal to both the Southern whites and blacks, or at least one of those groups. So when we are identifying devices, we want to make sure that it is fitting that specific purpose as to how it's going to help him kind of get his overall message across. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot of text here, so line number, like when you say pass down your bucket, we know where you're looking at. But as you get to something specific, line numbers would be good so that folks can locate it fairly quickly. So, what do we see? And based on the audience, there's certainly some logic to that. Mm-hmm. And when you take a look, and I'm starting off with, the other side with it, but he makes it pretty clear where he's looking at where you get to, I think it's 35, to those of my race, which is not going to be Southern whites. But then on the other side of the paper, he makes sure to identify to those of the white race, where he does kind of specify here is where we're taking a look at. Do you think there's anything in here, Virginia, that he's hoping would appeal most to whites, that by including this is like the detail or the example that he's hoping will pull them in?
Praising them. He's like, "Oh, you've done all the things you do help us so much." And like in the very end, he was talking about how that nothing in 30 years has given us more hope and encouragement. I forget where it is, but he's talking about like the trades fair, and it's like, "Oh, this is been, oh, is it 10? It's like this has been so graciously created, and
Okay.
you guys have been so great."
Okay. Nope, that makes sense. What else kind of going along that vein? Alex? So, and this is really where he's kind of starting to tread on some delicate territory. As we have proved our loyalty to you in the past, in nursing your children, watching by the sickbed of your mothers and fathers, and often following them tear dimmed eyes to the graves, so in the future, in our humble way, shall we stand by you with the devotion that no foreigner can approach, to lay down our lives, if need be, in defense of yours, interlacing our industrial, commercial, civil, religious life with you. I could keep going, going, and going. And he's doing a couple things here. Number one, why mention immigrants? Well, and you certainly have an influx of immigration at this time period. So not only is there xenophobia of it, but you also have like millions and millions and millions of people coming in. So if you don't want, for people of foreign birth, kind of taking over the area, playing off of the xenophobia, we've already been here. Now, when he says we've proved our loyalty to you in the past, really, what's he referring to? He's making reference here to slavery. So, and he doesn't use the word slavery, but he does not come out and condemn them for you owe us because of slavery. But look, with what happened with slavery, we've been able to basically prove our loyalty to you. We're still here. We're willing to work, make things, amend fences and whatnot. Things are going to be okay. So yeah, he's certainly playing off of that. I'd say there's one other big aspect that he certainly does when it comes to discussing things with whites and blacks. In this paragraph, not only this here, line 13, but the opportunity here afforded will awaken among us a new era of industrial progress, focusing on industrial progress. He doesn't say what kind of progress. There's nothing about civil, there's nothing about, equality or things like that in agriculture, but here we're looking at industrial, we're going forward. Ignorant and inexperienced, it's not strange that in the first years of our new life we began at the top instead of at the bottom, that a seat in Congress or a state legislature was more sought than real estate or industrial skill, that the political convention of stump speaking had more attraction than starting a dairy farm or truck garden. Basically, he's conceding that what must African Americans do? we're going to start at the bottom. Look, and syntax and things like that kind of starts to certainly happen quite a bit. Take a look at what's going on at the beginning of at the second column, and really even at the bottom of the first, maybe like line 48. Our greatest danger is that in the great leap from slavery to freedom, we may overlook the fact that the masses of us are to live by the production of our hands and fail to keep in mind that we shall prosper in proportion as we learn to dignify and glorify common labor and put brains and skill into the common occupations of life. Shall prosper in proportion as we learn to draw the line between the superficial and the substantial, the ornamental be-alls of life and the useful. No race can prosper till it learns that there is as much dignity in tilling a field as in writing a poem. It is not at the bottom of life we must begin and not at the top. It is at the bottom, of life that we must begin and not at the top. So he really is kind of starting to lay it on pretty thick at this point where, those references that would be going to the Southern whites, hey, we're willing to work our way, very incremental, slow steps. We're not asking for total equality, across the board or anything along those lines. We can go in other directions now, too.
In like 65 through down to like 77, there's a lot of anaphora, like federal structure, and it says like cast it down among the people,
Mhm.
cast down your bucket. I think it's trying to just make a connection between how like whites and blacks already have like a critical relationship, and I think it's just trying to tie back to, I don't know if you call it an anecdote or more of an analogy, but from like 25 to 30.
Where that whole idea gets started with it. And certainly what's happening here, parallelism, anaphora would certainly work. Where it first gets introduced, you could go anecdote. Some folks would go metaphor. You could go extended metaphor because it's one that it keeps coming to. I would not that you would be like losing all credibility on the essay if you wrote it, I would not call it motif, even though it keeps coming just because the length of a passage, it's not substantial enough to go, hey, here's a motif, because you're not dealing with something that's like 40, 50, 60 pages. So I can't imagine, honestly, for TWA that would be text space like this that you would ever use motif. Now, if you were writing an essay about Invisible Man, and I gave you a big list of motifs, like I already have, Sarah very well could end up using motif if that were the direction that essay ended up kind of going in. What does he mean by the cast down your bucket? Because I think that's where some folks kind of get confused, like, oh, it's a metaphor to cast down your, but I don't get this. And Sarah will go on.
I think because he told the story in the third paragraph, and so I think with the story, the cast down your bucket is kind of, yeah, I'm giving you advice, and it seems like it won't work, but I have knowledge that lets me know that there is things that will work there. Like you said, cast down your bucket. And they're like, I'm not going to because we need water to fill the oceans, but they weren't aware that there's actually fresh water there.
Okay. So like the resources are there that you need.
Yeah, you just don't know about them, so I'm giving you advice to try and
Cast it down.
yeah.
Take advantage of the opportunity that you have.
I think he's just saying, like, economically, I think they just need to almost grow where they're planted. Like, a lot of the South at that point wasn't reformed yet, so, like, most of the jobs were still in agriculture and in those menial jobs that they used to do. So instead of, like, turning back and being like, we have to start fresh, like, go into what you know and, like, really perfect it, I think is what he was saying.
And really with that idea of bringing in industry, I mean, industry is kind of thought of a northern thing where agriculture is more of the southern. You have to have a lot of resources. You have to have a lot of labor, and certainly those opportunities are here for you. Emily? As a white audience member.
But obviously they know that they want more rights and stuff, but they're not, white people aren't going to be inclined to listen to them. So it could be a way to say like, hey, here's some advice, you should listen to this, but without presenting it in a way that seems like overbearing or in a way that would upset the people that would normally ignore.
And even though it's not part of like the cat's down your bucket, analogy metaphor that's getting made, he certainly makes that pretty clear once you get here to like 91 down to 94. And all things that are purely social, we can be as separate as the fingers. But when it comes to industry, when it comes to progress, we're going to be the hand. But yeah, when the workday is over, we can go our separate ways. What's our population for African Americans in the South? 1/3, since you and I were kind of talking about this. So 1/3, how many millions of people? 8 million people, and then he kind of goes 16 million pairs of hands, and all that kind of stuff. So why reference those large numbers? Because it's a large amount of resources that they certainly have. So if you're white, you can cast down your bucket where you are, and you have all these labor opportunities, all these laborers who are willing to work. If you are African American, there's not a need to leave this area because the industry should be growing. So there's going to be opportunities for you to cast down your bucket and kind of lay the family roots to keep them here in order to maintain employment.
I think it's in like 78. It says to education of head and heart, you find that you buy your surplus land, you blossom the waste places in your fields, and run your factories. Like Virginia was saying, how like you need to like take the advice and like if they want all this industrial progress, like Washington's like saying this is how you can make it happen. Like you just need to trust me.
Take advantage of the opportunity that's here. But those advancements that we're going to be looking for ourselves, they are only going to be benefiting you. So there's a little bit of kind of give and take with it, but there's not too much from that African Americans would be looking to take from the whites, so far as, seats in Congress or becoming the foreman of the factories and things like that. He is certainly still kind of keeping that submission, that meek-minded idea, which certainly some folks are going to have issues with. And I mentioned W.E. Du Bois is the one who calls it the Atlanta Compromise in 1903. Du Bois is not a fan of this whatsoever. Now, Du Bois is from the North. Du Bois is more traditionally educated. Harvard or Yale, I forget which school he goes to in New England. But it's certainly more of the traditional kind of intellectual progress that he's looking for, where Washington is really kind of going with slow, basic steps to try to get some financial stability, and then hopefully that will lead, down the road to some other things. But if we're able to prove ourselves, that he kind of mentions down here, then as we progress down the road, maybe some more opportunities are going to come. Emily? Okay. And it seems very simple, but just like our beloved, that's going to be that partnership, that is certainly taking place there, where it's, both white and black. It's a place that we love. It's not a place that we are looking to leave and try to get out. We don't want to work in the factory so that we can make enough money and then move, to Pennsylvania or Maryland or Massachusetts or anything like that. Here is a place where we ultimately do want to stay in place for the long run. So yeah, obviously that appeals going to both white and black. Tomorrow, we're still going to be looking at this. We're going to go into a little bit more detail with some of the devices that we have found. And as I said, as you get towards the end of chapter 1, not the prologue, but as you get towards the end of chapter 1, there should be a Booker T. Washington alarm going off in your head as you are getting to the end of that initial chapter. And you'll probably see some more parallels happening